Water Management in Phoenix Group, here's our final presentation. Every time you take a drink of tap water, do you know where it comes from? If you live in Arizona, it likely comes from the CAP or SRP canals. In the picture to the right is the CAP Canal, also known as the Central Arizona Project Canal. The CAP Canal runs water from the Colorado River through a series of pumping plants and tunnels. This system is a major water source for the people of Phoenix and is about 336 miles long. Another main source of water is SRP, or the Salt River Project, which delivers water from the Salt and Verde rivers and is roughly 375 miles long. That's a lot of water, right? Wrong. With hundreds of people moving to Arizona daily, Phoenix has a fast-growing population with an overwhelmingly high demand for clean and affordable drinking water. But the supply is limited. Phoenix has been in and out of extreme drought since the year 2000. With climate change increasing the risk of drought and water shortage, the city of Phoenix is in a crucial position to adopt a better water management system, as a water shortage is in this extreme heat can have dangerous impacts on the community's overall health and safety. These impacts can be especially catastrophic for people who live in poverty or people who cannot afford clean drinking water.
Water scarcity can be felt by all residents of Phoenix, but disproportionately affects those who are from more economically vulnerable communities. The city of Phoenix has some of the lowest rates for citizens' water bills compared to the largest cities in the nation, as you can see on the graph on the top right. While this means it is easier for economically vulnerable residents to afford it, it also means that those who are wealthier can use larger amounts than might typically be necessary. Two-thirds of water is used residentially by the citizens of Phoenix, with household size increasing in correlation with that water usage. The inequity is shown when looking at how residential dwellings use that water. Almost three-quarters of household water is used for outdoor utilities like lawns and pools, which are found in which are more popular in communities with higher incomes. Inequity is apparent when looking at how these environments affect health and well-being for these individuals. Blue and green spaces, which environments with outdoor water and vegetation are often called, reduce the urban heat island effect, meaning these spaces lower overall surface temperature in the surrounding area. Heat-related deaths are in the rise in Phoenix and are more common in economically vulnerable communities. Last year, there were 378 heat-associated deaths, which you can see in the graph on the top right, the causes. Um, Heat-related deaths, local governments and communities across socioeconomic scales are stakeholders and will need to work together to address these failures in the current water management plan. The gap between higher and income communities will continue to widen without immediate intervention using equitable strategies where everyone's voice is heard.
Arizona largely relies on groundwater as much as 30%, and groundwater is oftentimes non renewable. Climate change causes alteration in precipitation patterns, which in turn results in excessive droughts, especially in an arid climate such as Phoenix. These droughts diminished major sources such as Colorado, Salt, and Verde River. As a response to climate change, Phoenix increases its water consumption, thus, reliance on groundwater only increases in the city, which greatly depletes it. Stakeholders such as agricultural sectors have voiced concerns about mismanagement of the water resources because they were one of the first to experience major issues such as farms shutting down and meager harvests. Continuing with the business as usual scenario, where management of wastewater is not changed and no action is taken to preserve groundwater, Phoenix will eventually have no groundwater to extract from. The only solution may be to decrease water use or relocate water industrial plants. However, crisis can be averted if stakeholders consider future scenarios rather than continuing to strive for purely economic gain.
Phoenix residents are committed to reducing their water use. Per capita, over the last 20 years, Phoenix has seen a 30% reduction while the population increased by 400,000. Due to these measures, the city of Phoenix only uses two-thirds of the water allocated to them, leaving a buffer for anticipated growth or unexpected shortages. In order to maintain that buffer and replenish it should it be used, the city of Phoenix needs to invest in more underground storage and utilize more reclaimed water sources where appropriate. Phoenix residents are doing an incredible job at reducing their water use, and it is up to legislators to create strong water security legislation. According to the City of Phoenix Water Resource Plan, the Arizona Water Banking Authority was established to increase the use of Arizona's Colorado River allotment and to create long-term storage credits for the state. Storage credits are an incentive for Phoenix to keep as much water in storage as they can. These water supplies benefit residents and businesses of Phoenix and communities all along the Colorado River. The banked supplies are stored in underground storage projects like the Granite Reef, and surpluses are returned to the earth and groundwater recharging sites. This helps Phoenix meet the expectations from the state and to benefit Indigenous communities by protecting their water rights and allotted supply.
Another important strategy involves the reallocation of Arizona's water rights. Arizona's current water right agreements are outdated as they do not account for the declines in surface water ability that are currently occurring as a result of climate change. This sets up a difficult situation, since these decades-old agreements permit Arizona residents as well as industry to use unsustainable amounts of water. A successful water rights strategy must work towards reducing water consumption, especially from Arizona's agricultural industry. Recent studies have estimated that nearly 70% of water used statewide is for agricultural purposes. Therefore, reducing consumption from this sector is key. Reallocating agricultural water rights will, of course, be a difficult legal challenge and will require intervention from state and federal governments. Negotiation and compromise will be necessary from all stakeholders in order to find agreements that ensure water sustainability. The government can assist with this strategy by creating proposals which incentivize water saving in agriculture as well as other water-intensive industries. One possible example of this is a cap-and-trade style system in which water users are incentivized to work together to prevent overconsumption. As a 2018 study by Stanford points out, the system is already being used in other water-scarce areas and is showing promising results. Refining policy relating to water rights is essential, and it's a crucial strategy for improving Arizona's water management. Individual citizens can also contribute to the success of the strategy by contacting their elected officials and demanding change.